Narrator calm, mysterious tone. Some stories challenge everything we think we know about life, death, and the human soul. This is the case of Imad Elawar, a young boy from Lebanon who, before he could even speak properly, began describing people, places, and events from a life he couldn't have lived, unless reincarnation is real. Born in 1958 in the village of Kornayel, Lebanon, Imad Elawar was just 18 months old when he began to say things that shocked his family. He spoke of another home in a village called Khriby, nearly 40 kilometers away. He named people he had never met. He described owning a yellow car, riding a bus, using weapons, and even dying in a truck accident. His parents were confused. At first, they thought he was just a vivid storyteller. But the details didn't stop. They only became more specific. One day, while walking with his grandmother, Imad ran up to a stranger and hugged him. The man, surprised, turned out to be from Khriby, the very village Imad claimed as his past home. Soon, the family decided to investigate. When they visited Khriby, Imad immediately recognized the Bohamzi family, whom he claimed were his parents, siblings, and friends in his previous life. Even more astonishing, many of the names and facts he had shared in Kornayel turned out to be accurate. The case caught the attention of Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychiatrist from the University of Virginia known for researching reincarnation cases worldwide. He traveled to Lebanon in 1964 to examine Imad's claims. Crucially, Stevenson documented everything Imad had said before visiting Khriby, ensuring the boy's memories couldn't have been influenced by what he saw there. Of the 47 specific statements Imad made about his past life, only 3 were found to be incorrect or unverifiable. The rest matched up with a man named Ibrahim Bohamzi, who had died years earlier, possibly in a vehicle-related accident, just as Imad had described. Imad was terrified of trucks and buses, just as someone might be if they had died in a traffic accident. He also spoke French fluently from a very young age, strange for a child raised in a mostly Arabic-speaking home. But Ibrahim Bohamzi had served in the French army, and likely spoke the language fluently. These personality traits and fears weren't taught or learned. They seemed to carry over, as if from another life. Skeptics have tried to explain such cases as coincidence, suggestibility, or fraud. But in this case, drive. Stevenson made sure that no contact occurred between the families before verification. This was not a situation where Imad's family could have coached him with information. He was too young, the villages were far apart, and his details were too precise. He described where Ibrahim used to tie up his dog. He pointed out where a hidden gun had been stored. And he repeated Ibrahim's final words, remembered by his real-life widow. The Imad Elawar case is one of the strongest pieces of anecdotal evidence for reincarnation ever recorded. It's not just a mystery. It's a challenge to how we understand memory, identity, and what happens after death. Dr. Stevenson went on to document hundreds more such cases, but Imad's story remains one of his most compelling, because of the timing, the accuracy, and the behavioral evidence. What if death is not the end? What if some children really do remember past lives, not through dreams or imagination, but through vivid, factual memories? The story of Imad Elawar doesn't prove reincarnation. But it doesn't rule it out, either. Sometimes, the most incredible stories come from the smallest voices.